How's it going? David from Comic Book Investments. So, something crazy again just happened, and I honestly, in my personal opinion, I think it's kind of a scam, and I'll explain why. But to see what I'm talking about, we have to go back in time. We have to go back in time through history and just look at what's going on with this market. All right. This article is from 2017. I don't know if you can see it there, July 28th, 2017. So literally 4 years ago. A super rare Mario Brothers sells for 30,000. This is a sealed copy, right? Selling for $30,000. It's on the news, on this random website and other things like that. $30,000 on eBay. And people were freaking out about it. Sold on eBay, and that was 4 years ago. Sealed copy. Now, I don't know if WADA existed, which is this game grading company. I don't think they did. VGA, I think, did, but they didn't. So let's move ahead a few years. So remember, 30,000 sealed copy, kind of before WADA existed. Then we got this, my birthday, April 2nd, 2021. So almost 4 years later, sells for $660 a video game, a 9.6, right? I don't know if this is an earlier print or whatnot. They have printings and things like that. How crazy is that? $660 almost 4 years later. That was the new record. Let's go a little further. 2 months after that. So almost 4 years since the Mario sold for $30,000. A Zelda cart in a 9.0, 9.98 sells for $870. Few days after that, a Super Mario Bros. N64 9.8 sells for $1.5 million. And I've done videos on all these leading up to this, right? So this is where we're at today. Let's get a better picture. Right here. World record offer. 9.8. Unopened, sealed, Super Mario Bros. Single highest grade. Well, I don't know if it's single highest grade. It is the highest grade. Sells for a record of $2 million. Just a few weeks ago, a Mario N64 sells for 1.5, highest. What was that? Back in my birthday, April 2nd, this same video game, I think it was a 9.6 though, sells for, what did I say, $660 or something like that? 3 months later, a 9.8 sells for $2 million. Now, there's something different about this one right here that's going to seem a little, this is where I think it's a scam. So all the other ones, and I've done videos on these all the time, all the other ones were sold in auction. So usually on Heritage, maybe eBay, maybe somewhere else, but mostly on Heritage, selling in auction. Now, I've made many videos on how Heritage basically bids up their prices and buys it from themselves. Like they bought I think like a year ago, they bought a Super Mario Brothers. I don't know if it's a 9.6 or 9.8. They bought it for $300,000, and they bought it from themselves. They bought it. Some collector had it, and Heritage. It says sold on Heritage, $300,000. No, the owner of Heritage and the president and one other person bought it. So Heritage bought it from themselves. Why do they do this? Well, I'll tell you why. They do this because then it gets in the news. And now it's all over the news. Record sales, right? All these books selling for a ridiculous price. This is on CNET, and I'm sure probably, news stations covered it, like, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, all that stuff. I'm sure they all covered it, right? And it's probably on their sites. Guaranteed it's on their sites, on Yahoo, all that kind of stuff. What does that do? It brings in eyeballs to that company. It shows the public that, hey, video games are worth a lot. Let's see, I have video games. I want to sell my collection. So what? Oh, Heritage gets good price. I'll call up Heritage. I have all these video games. Oh, sure, come bring it down and we'll sell it for you. So I've done a bunch of videos on this. So this one is a little different. I'll explain why. This one sold on Friday, sold through a collectible site called Rally. And if you guys remember one of my earliest videos I did a video on Rally, Otis, and Alt, all the same thing. And what Rally and Otis and all those companies are is they basically, it's like the stock market for collectibles. So for example, they'll take the Super Mario Brothers. They'll put it up for sale, but not for sale as you own it. You own shares of it. And let's, for easy math's sake, let's say they buy this video game for, 600,000, right? And they put up, I don't know what the shares are. Maybe it's 1%, or they put up a number of shares. Maybe it's like, we have 10,000 shares or 100 shares and you can buy them. And they just divide it up. So let's pretend it's 10 shares, $600,000. Each share you have to buy is $60,000, right? And you own 10% of the game. And usually the way they do it, whoever sells it to them, so if I sold this video game to Rally, I would keep a percentage of it. So maybe 30% of it, 50% of it, something like that. And the other 50% of it would go out into Rally's marketplace, where then random people could buy a percentage of it. But Rally controls the game. They own the game and they control it. And I've mentioned in my videos before why I think it's a bad idea. What if something happens to Rally? You actually don't own any of that video game. They will have to sell that video game to pay off their debts if they go bankrupt, and you are left with nothing. That is one bad thing I see about them, among others. But anyways, so Rally sold this video game. And how Rally makes money is every time you buy or sell your shares, you have to pay like a fee, usually, a transaction fee. That's one way. Now, so the way this worked, it's a new record with Rally, $2 million. Highest ever paid for a video game, title, blah, 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 blah. So while the previous record was set on an auction site, Rally has a different system. Buying items, inviting people to invest in their shares. When an offer comes on an item, investors vote on whether to sell it or hold. So, and if you look back here, video game spec market super hot right now. 3,000 shares in the Super Mario game, which was originally offered to investors in August of 2020 for $150,000. So, what's this say? It is a profitable sale for sure. The New York Times reports that Rally bought the game in April of 2020 for $140,000. So they bought it in April for $140,000. They listed it on their site a few months later for $150,000. So right then and there, Rally makes $10,000 if they sell all their shares, and they had 3,000 shares to offer. So you would buy, let's see how much each share was worth. So they offered for $150,000 divided by 3,000 shares. Each share is $50. So if you had $50, you could put in $50, and you would get a share of a Super Mario Bros. 9.8. All right, blah, blah, blah. And investors reports that Ally bought the game in April 2020 for $140,000, and that investors passed on a $300,000 offer later that year. So that means someone came along and offered him $300,000 for that video game. And the way it works is, usually Rally owns some of the shares, the original salesperson who sold it to them owns shares, and then us, the general public, can buy shares. And at any point, they could sell the game. And the way it works is they try to find offers, and if they get a good enough offer they think is good, they'll bring it to the board, the shareholders, and they all vote. And as long as they get 51% of the vote, then they sell it or do it or hold or whatever it is. So they got an offer $300,000, but I guess all the shareholders voted to pass on that offer. A graduate student who spoke to the newspaper said he invested $100 in shares of the video game and made $950. So what is this little article saying right here? This is saying for your average person, I invested $100, right? A lot of people have like maybe $100 laying around. So he bought 2 shares, and this is how much he made. He made $1,000 off his $100 investment in a year, right? And everyone's like, ooh, wow, that's good, And that goes for the average person, right? The average person can afford this. So why do I think this is a scam? I'd explain to how everything works. They got $2 million for this. Do you think there's someone out there really paying $2 million for this video game? No. What this is Rally is buying it from themselves because they don't have to actually pay $2 million. So let's say that they bought this video game for $140,000 right here. That's what they bought it for. They automatically listed for $150,000. Rally probably owns 50%, I would assume, of this right here. They own 50%. maybe more, maybe 70, maybe 80%. Maybe no one really bought the shares and no one really believes in this company, because I've talked to different commenters on my YouTube channel about how they've tried it and it's terrible and they didn't make any money, all this kind of stuff. And maybe no one really bought into all the shares. So they have tons of money. They're getting tons of money from Silicon Valley. Like Rally probably, I think one of them got like $30 million from like Silicon Valley VCs to make this thing work. And they all have a ton of money. And they bought, this is how they bought this video game to begin with for $140,000. I have a feeling that they just bought it from themselves. They made up a fake price. $1 trillion. It makes no difference what number they make up because they're buying from themselves. So there actually no transaction is taking place of the dollars. And yeah, there might be a few people like this person right here invested $100, right? That they're going to have to pay out the difference, right? And there's probably a lot of people that invested like $50, $100, $200, maybe $1,000 that they're going to have to pay out. But majority of it, I'm sure, was owned already by Rally. And that's the only people they have to pay out, which is them. So they don't have to pay them out. And what happens when they do this? Boom. Now all these people know about Rally. You who are watching this video now know about Rally if you didn't know about Rally, right? Anyone that reads this article, ooh, what is Rally? What is Rally? Let's go to Rally. Rally. Let's do collectibles. I don't know what their site. Rally Road? Is that what it is? Rally RD. Yes, this is the site. This is how it works. See what kind of collectibles they have. So they have all sorts of stuff. Like, look at the here. $25 a share, and it's a $2 million market cap. Broadside Declaration of Independence. I'm not sure what that is. All right, they have the video game right here. And it's still initial offering, $50 a price. Initial offering date, 8/20. What is that? Can I buy it? Invest now? It's probably too late. Oh. So they don't even have that. Here's what they talk about the board and all this kind of stuff. Can I invest now? I have to get the app. So they don't even say it on their website that it's sold for $2 million. You think you would have it on your website. Here's the actual thing that's sold for $2 million. I invest now. It tells me to download the app. It still says it's for sale for investing. That's kind of odd to me. Look, I can still $15 price tag. Okay, well, who knows? I don't know what's going on their website. Here we go. You can get an X-Men 1, Mickey Mantle card. They usually go for the higher end stuff. Jordan sneakers signed. Star Wars 9.0. That's 35-cent variant. An Apple One computer or something. Worn jersey. A card. Worn moon shoes. Here we go. Gem Mint rookie card of Wayne Gretzky. $40 initial market cap 8. You can invest for $40 a share. So they're trying to get the average person, right? That's what they're really trying to go for. But yeah, I think it's just a way for you to get to the site and go, ooh, look at all this cool new thing. It's just an advertising scheme. That's all it is. It didn't really sell for this. All these high, ridiculous prices are advertising schemes. That's all it is. Heritage does it constantly to show, hey, there's a lot of money in video games. Because what Heritage also does is they put out a magazine that talks about new investments and the collector of today and different things to invest in, right? And people that read it, like you and I, we're more savvy. We know this, like video games and stuff like that. But there's people with old money that are 60, 70, 80 years old. They don't know anything about the video game market. They're just reading Heritage. They trust Heritage. And they're like, ooh, what's this video game market thing? I don't know much about video games other than like my grandkids play them, right? And they're like, but it's trash. I'm not going to pay attention. But then when you show them like, yeah, this video game we got for $50,000, now we're $500,000 a year later. That's a 10x return. That they know. So all those old people, all those investors that don't really know much about anything when it comes to video game market and things like that, they go 10x, yeah. And then a year later, it went from $500,000 to $1 million. You got to be kidding me! I got to invest in this. So what it is they're just hoping to get a bunch of investors by showing these massive. They're inflating the price. That's all they're doing. That's My dad used to work for Heritage. He said they did it all the time. So it's nothing new for Heritage. Rally is just doing it to boost their company, right? Um, if you had the same thing and you put it up on eBay or something like that, do you think it hit $2 million? Do you think it hit 1.5 million? Do you think it even hit $1 million? A 9.8 Mario? Doubtful. Like, because when you throw it up on eBay, unless Heritage is bidding it up to protect themselves, or Rally is bidding it up to protect themselves to make it doesn't look like the market is crashing, right? Then, yeah, it wouldn't sell for that because there's no collector that's going to really pay this price. It's just people and protecting their investments. That's all it is. So that's why I think it's kind of a scam and it's fake. But if you do have these video games, now is the time to sell them, I think, because they're going to go for a ridiculous price with a lot of people that are thinking video games are... They just don't realize how many of these video games exist sealed. I get it. A lot of people open them and play them, but there's a lot out there that exist, and they'll find out soon enough. And especially since WADA's backed up, because, by the way, Heritage owns WADA, and they don't let people submit their games. I guarantee you, Heritage comes with a big bin of video games, goes, yeah, WADA, grade all these in a day. And they're like, yes, and they do it. But then the average person sends it, that'll be a year later. Why? They want to slow down new video games coming to the market. They want to control the market for as long as possible. So, yeah, that's my take on this. It's pretty crazy. So, all right, well, have a good day.